Yeah, hello, this is George Nemeh from MAAP Real Talk Show. Today we were at Scottsdale, of course, the meeting with the council regarding mask or no mask. I met with these great people today, and I'm gonna start. We decided to go in where the air conditioned, at least would have to sweat under the tree over there. And can you tell me, although some of them I knew from the past, however, I'd like to introduce them to you right now. We're gonna say a little bit. Can you tell me, Brad?
I'm Brad Blane, also known as Brad Blansett, and a local actor and local political activist now. So I came to the group to meet some people and carry out my mission and help people learn about why not to wear masks and how that's going to end up getting us convinced to be vaccinated.
Not this one?
Yeah, not this one, not any of them, because next month it's vaccinations and they're going to force that on you too. And so that's why I'm doing this, and trying to keep politics on the straight and narrow and get the right people in and get the right changes made before it's too late for all of us.
Terrific.
My name is Ben, veteran, truck driver, patriot, just want to live my life and want my neighbors to be able to do the same and have some say in what that life might actually be. Basically let everyone make their own decisions, which is what the country's supposed to be about. So no one should be forced to do anything, at least, short of the completely illegal or utterly unsafe to everyone around them thing, but that's few and far between. So I came out here to support my Scottsdale neighbors. And
can you repeat where you at? Where were we before?
Where were we?
Yeah. Scottsdale, what is it?
Scottsdale City Hall.
City Hall.
Civic Center out in front of the City Hall. Got to see several speakers, scientists, politicians.
Okay, we'll come back to this. So let me introduce the next lady.
Hello.
Mrs. Williamson. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Kristen, and I just came down to the Civic Center, had gotten a flyer because I've been communicating with a variety of people across the Phoenix Metro about their unwillingness to be forced by city council members and elected officials to wear masks and consider it medical martial law, and essentially very similar to what other people say. As soon as it's masked, it'll be another unconstitutional mandate that's not based in science. And citizens have seen the lies, we've seen the numbers, we've been misled, and we're pushing back on the entire agenda. We're very informed, and we're not going to be quiet and silent any longer.
So that was your purpose of your visit. So did anybody entice, from all the people were you there from the beginning when it started?
I came 30 minutes later and met with some friends that I knew that were going to be there that also had similar views, and met very, very nice people from a variety of areas outside of the city as well, outside of the city of Scottsdale, and all were communicating and very, very knowledgeable about the larger backstory of what all of this COVID event is and how it relates to 5G and a lot of technocratic style government, a lot of different facets to the agenda, and so people are not confused about what's going on. So very honest conversations with very intelligent and informed people.
Well, this is why I asked you, because I came in actually late. I'm so sorry, my apology as well. And this is why I'm trying to get the feedback from some of the people I spoke to few. But you guys in particular, I did not know that I knew you before, which is excellent. But when I approached you guys, it was already at the end of the day. And thank you for accepting this interview with MAAP Real Talk Show. That brings me back to you. What's your first name, you said?
First name is Benjamin.
Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin, is there anything else that caught your eye from the meeting? Like you came and you learned something new?
I met a candidate for U.S. Senate that I hadn't met before. Got to talk with him for about 15 minutes or so.
Do you remember?
With not just myself, with other people.
You know his name?
Daniel.
Oh, yeah. Daniel? Yeah. Well, at this show, we interviewed him back April 19, 2020, this year.
So I'm definitely interested in learning more.
Right.
Not generally a big fan of primaries within the party for a seated candidate,
right.
But definitely one of those years where, maybe it.
Who is he trying to see?
Is trying to take McSally's seat.
Oh, McSally, yeah, well, I could see that's a tough battle ahead of him.
I generally like her, but I'm not completely attached. So there's room to grow, and he's definitely he was speaking a really good game today. So he's got my attention at least.
Oh, good. Was there anything intrigued you today? Like, I asked that question to everyone. Intriguing for me is usually like, did somebody inspire you? Somebody like, usually we go to these rallies, we might not get what we want, from their answers because they've been guided, let's say. But what's something stuck out for you? Like, you kind of say, oh, wow, that's not bad.
You know what? I actually was standing in the back and was communicating with so many people that the speakers were far enough away that I couldn't hear everything that they were saying. So I was getting secondhand knowledge I was understanding that there were lawsuits in place related to the masks, and I was hearing a little bit about that. So I want to go and research what lawsuits are coming out, whether it's related to OSHA laws that are not being complied with the masks and so forth,
right?
And the liability associated with government mandates that are going against medical experts and science by reducing oxygen levels in the blood, and this is being forced upon people. Yesterday, I was speaking with someone who was working outside in 105-degree heat, and he said, I have to wear this mask just to work. And he said, it's hurting me physically. I can't breathe. And yet he's forced to do that so that he can work to have money to go home and feed his family.
So that's what you got from it. That was like, that's like massive.
Yeah.
I'm having a problem personally. I'm not supposed to inject myself into an interview. But when I wear the mask, I find myself too, I have to leave. I sit in the car for a little while because the mask, I can't, because I have an acid reflux problem that affects me immediately in the first 15 minutes.
And there were several people there that had oxygen blood readers. Devices, and so you can test, and they've done this, that the OSHA laws that are required have oxygen levels above a certain oxygen level in your blood.
You can actually qualify for supplemental assistance, like say if you're on Medicare or any of the medical assistance programs through the government. If you actually get pulse ox levels below, I think it's 86%, you qualify for oxygen tanks.
Wow.
And
so it's serious.
And this is serious.
It's serious to mandate this.
Normal full lung capacity and a rested condition, you're usually going to be about 98%.
Wow.
For your oxygen saturation level, which is about as good as it gets. Really, really professional athletes can get higher than that sometimes. But you put the mask on, and then it goes down and down and down, and a typical person's going to be about 90 wearing a mask. And if you're at all, if you've got any kind of respiratory conditions or allergies or asthma or anything like that, you're going to drop further than that, and that is life-threatening potentially. You're starting.
A lot of that stuff is new to me.
For children with developing brains, when you get those reduced oxygen levels, causing brain damage.
Wow, I didn't know. I posted something about this, about oxygen and stuff. I'm familiar with that. I don't want to sound pathetic, but I didn't know it was that severe,
Yeah, that's what I think.
Is Brad being called for duty?
Yes, I'm being called to
called in?
No, it's okay. It's just somebody else.
We have 1 minute. So can you tell me from your side of the story what happened?
Well, I was late to the meeting, but I'm seriously opposed to the mask. I actually had to wear one for a while today, and I normally don't. Dang it, stop it. And within 10 minutes, I was actually having trouble breathing, and I could feel a difference overall because I have respiratory problems. I have respiratory condition, a lot of other medical conditions that I'm fighting, and that's what I'm doing this because I'm fighting the medical industry and trying to protect people, and people don't seem to care anymore, sadly, about all of this. But like I said before, this all leads.
Well, they do. It's just they don't have the information.
Yeah, they don't. Everybody's being told to do what they're told to do, and nobody's really thinking anything through. But that's what they want. They want people to not think things through. They want people to stay ignorant. They want people to stay sick.
Well, if you had to speak to someone that works from 9 to 5 all day long with his children in the evening, next morning he has to go back to work, what would you say to them that they had to wear a mask?
I'd say, I'm sorry. I'd say I would refuse it if I was them, because you can't function at your full capacity if you can't breathe.
But it tells you the law.
Think.
The law told me.
I think it's manipulation. I think it's
when you go to a store, right? Even though they say it's not the law, you have your freedom, but you do now. You have people policing you technically.
I
You
don't
walk
care
into
what they
Walmart and then they approach you and they say you have to put the mask on. What then? What happens?
I tell them, no, I don't.
Yeah, I went to Walmart yesterday and I said, they asked if I had a mask and I said no. I said I cannot breathe with one of those. It reduces my oxygen level too low. And they didn't ask and didn't approach. However, last night when I went to Phoenix, two different restaurants, I went in and they said you need a mask, and I said, and I looked around the restaurant, nobody is wearing a mask in the entire restaurant, and I said no one here is wearing a restaurant. They wanted you to wear a mask 3 feet, and then you could take it off after the 3 feet.
After you sit down on the table.
Completely illogical, and I said it's not protecting you and it's causing harm.
Right.
So and they would not provide the documentation of the mandate by the restaurant, the policy, or the Phoenix order. So she refused to provide the government or corporate guidance that told her what she was verbally telling me. So that happened in 2 restaurants. So we just walked out. So, yeah.
The whole thing is really kind of pointless, because one of the things they're not telling everybody is if you have that virus, the virus is already all over your body. It doesn't just come out of your mouth. It comes out of your pores. It comes out of your skin. As your body sheds skin cells, it's got the virus in them. They say it's dead, but there's still the virus in them. When you're sweating, there's live virus being sweat out of your body. So it's on your clothes in 5 or 10 minutes. So you're walking around covered with the virus anyway. So mask is pointless. Mask is absolutely pointless. I had somebody confront me in the hardware store Friday morning when the thing in Scottsdale didn't even go effect until Friday at 5 o'clock, and this guy got belligerent with me in front of a whole crowd. He had an audience and he wanted to show off in front of the crowd and had to start trying to call me out in front of people.
Well, that's what I'm calling about police. And no,
yeah, and he called the police. He wasted a call to 911 trying to complain about me just to make himself feel good and to show off in front of all the other people that were standing around him. I went to the grocery store yesterday, and the woman behind the deli counter actually refused to serve me, and it was a different reason, which I can't go into, but some of this other crap we're facing in the media right now. But she refused to serve me when she didn't even have the right to do so, and she didn't even know what the laws were, and had to bring the manager in because she wouldn't slice meat from the deli from behind the deli counter for me just because I wasn't wearing a mask. So these people are going out of their mind trying to self-enforce laws on us when they don't even know the true facts behind any of this.
So what do you think is the reason why everybody just conforms? I use the word conforming because
Fear. They've been.
Is it fear?
They've been manipulated. It's fear. It's lack of self. Whatever, it's lack of knowledge, it's overwhelming willingness and desire to conform to what they're being told to do.
As I watch on social network, like I watched Harvard graduates, NYU, big colleges, Elizabeth, and they're conforming. So I wonder, how's that if they're so educated?
It's a test. It's a test to. This is all a test to break down people's will and to get them to want to conform by using fear to manipulate their sense of self and their sense of freedom, and taking that all away by using fear to just change everybody's way of thinking.
Last question. Do you think there's something after this? Are we a war? Is this like a war on humanity, or is it you see it as an accident?
Oh no, it's deliberate, and
it's like. Do you think it's like
it's focused at humanity, but it's not all humanity. It's the classic bigotry of self-superiority, and it's not as much as race is in the news right now. It has nothing to do with race. It's everything to do with class and perceived superiority, because it's. Well, the world is full of lesser people that are using up our resources and breathing our valuable air and annoying us by being in our presence, and we can see them and they're ugly and we don't like them. So if they could just all die, then we'll live our nice little elite existence and not have to be bothered by all the filthy peasants.
This is the first time I hear this. This is like a different perspective, but thank you for sharing your opinion.
It's the old insane inbred royalty. It's just, instead of calling them kings and queens and dukes now and bishops, now they're CEOs and ministers and department heads. They've changed their titles and they wear suits now instead of a crown. That's really all the difference is, and they are just as sociopathic and they're willing to kill to get there.
Wow.
And I'll share something from a video from a woman in Minnesota. She said that she is a daycare provider and was given, a friend gave her documentation of the state's next plan in their state, which was to medically seize your children if you as a parent get ill with this COVID virus, supposedly, take the children out of the home, and you were to in advance fill out all kinds of paperwork about that would give your children, that would force to give your children over to the state, and you could not care for them, and they were purchasing cots and all kinds of different setting up different places to take the children out of your home. So that means someone can knock on your door and walk into your home and take your child from you. So when you talk about where this can go, that's where it can go. And she said the forms that she was given by state officials were the exact ones she as a daycare provider were given and had parents fill out. And so she was making a big warning call saying, are you awake yet? It's time to wake up and figure this out because they're coming for your kids.
And the media, like, what do you think of the media then in that case?
They're useless. They're
I'm being very honest.
They're worse than useless. They're in on it. They're
complicit.
Yeah, they're essentially they think
they're complicit with what's going on with the secret part of our government that wants to break us down and take away our rights. So the media just wants to help that because they're being paid. The media is controlled by 6 people over the whole country. 6 people.
I hear that often.
6 people are deciding.
Is it possible?
6 people are deciding what 350 million people think.
But the world, you talk about 1
The
billion.
world too, yeah.
Social media.
It's everywhere. But I was going to say, make no mistake, this is a war. This is a war for your ability to think freely and have
Well, that's
your
why I
own
use
choices
that word, because
and
I used it
values.
once before, and then I had a person get mad at me. He said, no, this is just an accident.
It is.
we're not shooting each other yet. It doesn't make it any less a war. We're a little more gradual about it, maybe a little less honest.
But how
about
do you
it.
do that without knowing who the enemy and it's invisible?
Well, if you've heard Trump, that's what he's talked about frequently is the invisible enemy. And even Christian leaders are standing up. And there was an Archbishop Vigliano who had a very, very powerful letter to President Trump. And he spoke of the children of darkness and the children of light. And he spoke of the invisible enemy. And just like there's a deep state, there's a deep church. And it was very, very telling. And he was very aware. And that video and that letter went viral around the world because people understand that there is a much stronger battle beyond this current health situation that's being waged. And it's an economic system that's crumbling, and the group that controls that knows that their days are over.
Well,
And it's an epic
what is the
battle.
last word like you guys have? Because I only have like 30 seconds.
I'd like to say that one really good takeaway from this, more even than any of the speakers, was all the people that I met, all the people I saw. They were from wealthy, they were poor, different religions, different ages,
Backgrounds,
different from every walk of life, different belief systems, just Americans, and not all native, natural-born Americans. People from other countries that have come here, but everyone cared about each other, their neighbors. It was a self-respect and a mutual respect thing, and
So that's what you got out of it.
Well, and it's such a rare thing that it stands out when you're in a crowd of people that legitimately care about each other, and they don't even know who.
Well, that's what I
You've
see on
just
this
met the
table.
person next to you,
That's what I
and-
see on
and
this
you
table
care
today.
about
Like,
this
I know
person
I just
you
met you all, and I see the chemistry already floating. And do you know each other, by the way?
No.
No.
Do you know each other?
Nope.
Do you know each other?
No.
See, it just happened coincidentally. I met you. I've known you on
And we've
social
met,
networks,
yes.
but I did not know you until today. Like, we haven't spoken in
Right,
7 years.
right.
So, just to show you how our hearts sometimes, whether I'm behind the camera or front of the camera, we want what's best interest for the country.
Mine
and
will.
I just want to make sure that the end we're gonna end it on. We love America.
Well, I want to say something.
Yeah, please. Then okay. Let me go slow. Okay, go ahead.
All right, I want to say resist the changes that are trying to be forced upon us. As he was saying, the country, everything used to be great in this country 50 years ago. Yeah, we had our problems, we had some differences, but things were fine the way they were. Now they want to make a whole new America, and we don't need a new America. The old America was fine. The old America was respected by the rest of the world. Everybody wanted to come here to be part of what America was, not to take advantage of what America was. Now everybody wants to come here to take advantage of what America was and get whatever free money they can from the rest of us and then make us change our ways. And we have to resist that because everything was great. I mean, like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it was better than the rest of the world, and we got to keep it that way.
When you say you want it, like, does that mean like you want it back? But I always listen to the joke. I always say, Do you want it with air conditioning or without air conditioning?
I don't care whether it got it. Well, actually, we need to have it without air conditioning so everybody suffers a little bit, so they know what it's like to have to.
We thank the Italians for bringing it with them.
Air conditioning is a great thing.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I would just say stand up vigorously for your rights now while you
Yes.
still have them, and understand that the reason we have a Constitution and the Bill of Rights is to protect individual freedom, and it's not a collectivist society protecting, granting rights to the common good. So stand up for your freedom while you can.
Wow. Thank you.
And we've seen this before, not this specific thing, but these patterns, this type of abuse, government taking advantage of people, corporations taking advantage of people. It's how a country falls apart. We're following the Roman pattern, and we all know how that ended. It wasn't well. The important thing is in the past, at least in the last 200 and change years, people had that dream of, even as their country was falling apart or going through a terrible civil war or foreign invasion or whatever, there was always that dream of, I can go to America maybe someday and make a better life for myself. If America falls, we don't have that. Name a country on earth we can go to as a fallback that's going to be anything like this. It doesn't exist.
I'm going to end
so
on
we
this.
have to
Stand tall for
and
your
save
country.
our country, or learn to be slaves, and I won't do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for speaking with me today. That was really an honor to have you guys speaking your hearts out.
Honored to be here.
Because at the end of the day, this is what Real Talk is about. We are MAAP Real Talk Show. My name is George Nemeh. I'm your host. And I really appreciate the time that you guys gave me.
Stand up for our Constitution.
Thank you,
It's the
sir,
best
so
we
much.
got.
God bless and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.